Okay, so this is part 4 or part D to program exercise number 1 in chapter 3, reading in external internal files with this stuff. So you need to read this in to process this, all right? So the first thing we need to do is, normally if you're just going to read in a file and you output, we do a cin. But in this case, we got a buffer variable called infile, all right? So I'm going to use the infile command to read in for what's my first storage is going to store in Giselle, right? Remember what my variable name is? Look, first name. So I'm going to just copy that so I don't have to mess with any syntax error. And then stream extraction operator. I'm pulling this into to put into my variable. Next one I'm going to put in is my L name for last name, right? This right here. Of course, I forgot to type in the full letter E, L name. Let me just make sure you put that same spelling as what you have up there here. And then the last one is my department is my depart. So that stores that first line for you, okay? Now, how do I get this thing to come down and read, storing, some more stuff on here? Well, again, this is the salary. Remember, this is the output I want, exactly like this. So I want it to read in and read out this data right here. So read in, the next one is the salary, the bonus, and the tax rate, all right? So I'm going to come down here, same thing, in file, put in my next variable that I'm using is G salary, which should read in 5600. And then I'm going to read in the bonus. And then I'm going to read in the tax rate. All these are all double data types. Okay? Now, since I'm doing this piece by piece, I'm gonna process this so we can actually have just a line, just to see what it looks like right now. Don't run this yet, okay? Because you got variables you allocated memory. It's gonna cause error. Don't test anything at this time right now for me. All right. So I read in 2 lines. I'm gonna outfile. Remember, this is all step number 4. This is all step number 4 using your stream variable, stream insertion, and stream extraction with this stuff. So this is going to be your out file, and you're going to output this. All right, this is very important. So you're going to output this one. The first thing it says is it wants name, right, and then the name of that variable. It wants the department and the department that variable with it. So give me a second. Let me type this. I'm going to turn off the recording for a moment, so I don't want to take up any more time in this thing. I'm a slow typer. Hold on. So let me pick up where we just left off here. So this is, I stopped the recording so I can type all of this. Let me maximize this a little bit more and show you what I have done on here, okay? On here, that's right. We'll get more of this in here as well. Let me just squeeze this out a little bit. A bit more room here. I think that's the maximum space it's going to give me. So the out file, it's going to give this string, which is name, colon space, which is this part right here. And then I'm going to put F name, that should be Giselle, and then I'm going to put a space after it, and then I'm going to put her name, Robinson, and then I put a comma after it because it wants this comma, and then it puts a space in there. And then I put the string department with a colon space after it, and then this is the dep right here. This is the department that I misspelled that. It's supposed to be department. Okay, so department, it goes here with it. Next line is outfile. This is the outfile for the next line with it. Outfile monthly gross salary colon string with a dollar sign. So it captures from this to here. And then I put the variable G salary is this variable, which is the same as this variable right here. And then I put a comma after that and a space. Monthly bonus colon, that captures this monthly bonus colon with it. Please note, this is my bonus. All right, so I just put in 5%. Now, you notice that this is a double, so it's going to come across as the 0 on this thing. You put in a 5, it's gonna give you a 0, decimal 0 with it as well. We'll see what this thing looks like. And then the tax rate. If you look at the tax rate, here's the tax rate. It's 30%, right? So it's going to come across. It should come across as 30 with a 0 after as well. And then you calculate my formula for calculation for the paycheck out file. The next line is out file. What I've done is I took the salary. Let's say, just something like a salary with this. So I took the salary. I multiplied by 1. I took the bonus, which is the 5 divided by 100. That's 0.05. Times that with my salary plus that. So that's my bonus, right? I have to pay tax on that bonus, so I would multiply that by 1. That's my whole salary. I multiply it with my tax rate, which is 30%. I take the difference between the two. All right. So that's how I got this formula for the 4116. You're welcome to come up with your own formula. This is not a finance or a business class with it, believe me, with it. And then I do an L. Okay, so that takes place. This should get this first 3 lines of code. Now I do file inline with this. Now, after you do that, you have to go in, all right, and see everything, and then you read in the next one, which is what your next input's going to be 450, which is what your distance travel, right? So I need to let me stop. I'm going to hit enter, come down here. I'm going to pause the recording for a moment. So picking up where, for the second part, where it reads in for the travel distance. This is 450 for the travel distance, and this reads in the travel time is 9 right now with it. So this is the IN. Before I move on with this, please note that I did equivalent to a cout inline right here. This will give you a blank space here. This is what this blank space is about with it. And then I need to do another out file NL here after this line right here as well. So in file, distance travel, what's going to read in is the 450, and the travel time is 9. Now please note that both of these are a double data type with it. Okay, so and then my out file I'm going to read in is, here's my distance travel, and this is my output to my distance travel with miles. This is this output right here with it. Okay, then I come down to the next line is I'm going to output the average speed. Now this is what they want to know. For you to calculate the average speed, you have to take the distance traveled divided by the travel time, and it would tell you need to give a string. It says that mile per hour with it as well. So, and then this does the out file with this. Now, I'm going to do this something that, let me move on to the next step with it. You have to calculate the number of coffee cups in this as well. So I'm going to pause the recorder for a moment. So the next line is, it reads in the number of coffee cups, okay, which is the 75, and then it reads in the cost of each of the coffee cup, which is $1.50. And then I'm going to output it with the string, which is the number of coffee sold, colon, with the space in it, and it's going to output the 75, which is my number of coffee cups sold, right? And then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to use a space after it like this, and then I do a cost to it as well. And then the variable cost per cup, okay, goes here with it. So let me see, I want to match this. I think I call it coffee cup cost. Coffee cup cost right here. Okay, so let's make sure I get that. It just looks funny up there. I want to have the same variables with it. Okay. So, and then I would have number of coffee cups sold, and I multiply that with the coffee cup cost. So that will give me, the cost should be $112.50. So, watch this. Before I compile this, I want to, let me minimize this for a moment and move this out here with it. We're not totally done out of the woods with it yet, because letter E says write a statement to close your input-output file. So this is part, I'll just say 1E goes here, and I'm going to write to close that out. My two variables are file, infile dot what close function or methods, and outfile dot close to close that out. That's my fifth step. Remember now, this is my fifth step here. Close the files right here. That's what I need to do. Okay, so I close out the file, and then I'm going to come up here. I want to do something. I'm going to show you. Okay, so in here, my first line, accidentally. Now, some of you is going to do this. I know. Let me maximize this a little bit more. I don't need the book anymore, so I'm going to close out of it. Move this a little bit more so we can see the output for this thing. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to hit. Okay, so I have some variable errors here, which is good. I want to troubleshoot this with you so you can see what I'm talking about. So it says in file, I'm storing in num of coffee cups. Number of coffee cups. So number of coffee cups. Here, this is the variable that I have. Okay, you see up here? I'm going to copy that because I think I might have misspelled that because I made that variable too long with it. So let me come down here, number in file, number of coffee cups. I want to make sure that's the right spelling. Okay, let me try this again. And it says out file. If I look at this number of coffee cups sold, again, number of coffee cups sold. I might have mistyped it. Hang on. So out file number of coffee cups sold. It's this right here. Like this right here. Okay. That's what I get for doing too long of a name with this. Let's see what's going on. It's coffee cup sold. It tells me that there is an error, an uninitialized warning. Coffee cup sold. Hold on a second.